All right, everyone, it's the next day, and I'm pretty much at a stopping point. Well, at this point, I would have been putting the trim on the door. I had went to town several days ago. Typical fashion, I forgot something. I bought the boards to do the trim on the window, but I forgot to get the paint. So since I can't paint it, I'm obviously not going to put the boards up until I've painted them. So yeah, really, I mean, only thing besides that, I'll put some sealant in there. I definitely want to get that thing sealed as much as possible, because I pretty much got everything, like on the inside where these joints meet. Put that spray styrofoam in there, just trying to seal it up as much as possible to keep the cold air out in the winter time, because it is brutal here in Wyoming. So but I can kind of show you what it'll look like, because last year I did the other side to let some light in there. So I'll take you around there real quick and just show you what it's gonna look like, because I'm probably not gonna do another video on it, just to show me putting up a couple boards or trim around the edge. So I'll take you around here to the other side. All right, so this is the window I put in last summer. My first winter here, I didn't have a window on the barn at all. And so this, my RV's inside of here, and we have pretty long winters here, and it gets dark around 4:30 to 4:45. And it was very depressing in there. So, I'm like, boy, by next winter, I want to have another window in here. So that lets some light into this, the section I have closed off, because I have a wood stove inside here and all. But yeah, so that's what the trim's going to look like once I get the paint for the boards. But I'll show you one more thing in here I just got through doing. I had to buy a generator last year, because I hope this turns out good, because I know it's kind of dark in here. But I had to buy a generator because my batteries, we were just having so many cloudy days that my batteries couldn't keep up. And so I had to get this to, kind of throw a charge on the batteries every so often. But I had it outside, and I did keep it covered when I wasn't using it. But, I really wanted it to be inside, because just out of the weather completely. So what I did was I went and I bought a pipe and just extended it off of the exhaust of the generator. And I know God, this is probably horrible filming, but yeah, just ran it right out the back side of the barn there. I got to figure out how I want to seal that up. I'm hoping maybe there's some kind of a putty that can take extreme temperatures, that I can, kind of seal it up so there's no fumes at all at that joint where the pipe meets the exhaust on the generator. But as you see, there's no pull. If the battery were to go bad and not crank up the generator, the pull start is on the other side, which is literally about 2 feet away from the wall. So I don't have enough room in there to hand crank it if need be. So I don't want any kind of a permanent connection there where the pipe meets the generator, because I'm probably at some point may need to pull that thing out away from there if I got to hand crank it, and I don't want a big hassle. to getting it out of there so I can give it a hand crank. But I'm gonna pick you up here and over at the table and we'll talk real quick. That's pretty much what's been going on around here on the homestead. As y'all know, I'm trying to work with somebody about getting a log cabin built here on the property, but I tell you, I just seem to be having the worst luck with anybody that I deal with. So I'm about ready to give up on that. If you watch my videos, you saw I did a video a while back on a company called Bighorn Log Mountain or Log Cabin Homes. And we met and talked for probably about an hour discussing what I wanted. And then I left and, he said he'd get back with me on an estimate. And it was going on 3 weeks and I still hadn't heard back from him. So I called him, didn't get an answer. I think I got a recording or something. So it was probably 4 or 5 days later, he took time out of his precious day to give me an email. And that email really wasn't what I was asking for. When we left, he has a model that is very similar to what I was looking for. There was really only 2 differences that I wanted. I wanted a balcony up top, and I wanted it to be 2 feet wider than what the length and width dimensions were. So those were the only 2 things, and like I say, it was almost going on 3 weeks, and he still hadn't got back with me. So I called him. For about 4 or 5 days later, he emails me back, and it wasn't the estimate for the changes that I had made with the width change and the balcony. He gave me a quote on his model exactly as it was and everything, which was at the very top end of the budget that I was willing to spend. So I replied to his email telling him, because he had said, I'll need a few more days to give you a quote on the balcony and the other changes that I talked about. So my reply was, since his offer for the standard model was right at the very top end of what I was willing to pay, I just told him, don't worry about the quote for the alterations. I was interested in, since he gave me the price he gave me on his model, I did want to know what would it cost if he were to have a crew come out here and set that up. How much extra would that be? I mean, I've got some money left over from what his quote was on that standard model. And, if it only took a year or so more wait to save up enough to have them build it, I would much rather have a professional build it than myself trying to just fumble through this. Because looking at those building plans and everything, there's so much there that I, as a person who does not have experience building and looking at prints like that, it just I'd have had a million questions and everything. So I'd really rather not try to do it myself. But again, he hasn't. He didn't reply back to me, and we're at that. I think at about another 3 or so weeks, roughly. So, I haven't given this guy any money yet. Which if I did go with him, there'd be about a $40-something thousand down payment. And at this point, with him not answering me back, whether it's a phone call or an email, I'm kind of terrified to even give the guy any money because, when I first moved out here, and well, when I first bought the land in 2022, I was ready to hit the ground running and get a barn built out here so I could move my RV out here and into that so I could survive the winters, and then save myself the monthly rent that I was paying inside an RV park there near town. But as it turns out, I got scammed out of the $16,000 that I had sent for barn materials that I was going to try to build myself. And but yeah, I got scammed on that. And so I'm pretty leery about dealing with some of these people, and giving them money up front and all. And this guy certainly hasn't, ensured my confidence in him, because he won't reply to me, with the one, whether it's phone calls or emails. So this ain't looking good. But I really want a log cabin up here. So, there's a company online. It's called Log Home, something like Log Home Mart or something. Anyway, they don't deal in selling, or they don't deal in building log cabins. They simply deal in selling logs. They'll ship you the logs and you do whatever you want with them. Hopefully it'll be build a nice log cabin. But, I think that's about what we're down to, because I'm ready. I'm thinking maybe after I do this video, I may call his number, and if he doesn't pick up and I just get his voicemail again, I'm just going to tell him, I think I'm going to look elsewhere, because I need to deal with somebody who can actually reply back to me. So, yeah, we'll leave it at that. But, that said, I hope, again, with the luck that I've had with some of these people that I've tried to contact, I hope that this company that says they sell logs, I hope that they're legit, or actually do what they say they're advertising for. So, yeah, if they didn't supply logs or screwed around like this guy, then, man, I guess I have to buy some kind of stick frame home, which doesn't thrill me in the least out here. I really wanted a home. I don't know if you can see that much of back here, but I'm way out here in the middle of the woods, and it's beautiful landscape, and a log cabin would look great out here. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. And where we're at is really nowhere. I'm just piddling around the property here, trying to do a few things here and there that'll make life more comfortable for me, living in that RV parked in a barn, which I'm not. I make no bones about it. If you move out like this to a piece of property that's off grid, you're going to have your struggles and all that kind of stuff. And one of them being what I just described. This is just one of a couple of people that I've talked to that, they're hard to work with because they don't reply back to you. Or in this case, I am so sick of the way everything has gone up in price. In his brochure, which these people, again, they don't seem to update their stuff that often, but that model that he's now quoting $70,000 for, I forget how many years back it wasn't that many, but what's still in that magazine, or that little brochure that he had, was $33,000. So what's 33 doubled? That's 66. Well, he's 70, so he's more than double the price for that same package. And I'm sure that, like myself, I'm sure none of you know of anybody who their salary or their wages has more than doubled in the last, say, 5-6 years. So I don't get these people. It's like they're all pricing themselves out of business, or out of, they're pricing themselves out of the market because the working man cannot afford this stuff. I mean, it's like a lot of these I see videos of these fast food chains that are closing hundreds of stores across America because their sales are down. Well, duh. I mean, when you take a $5 burger and you raise it up to $15, $17, $20 for a burger, fry, and Coke, what do you expect? So with that, I'll leave it there. I really want to get, going on my foundation at least. If nothing else, I want to build that, I've said I want to build a 4-foot stem wall foundation so that I can build whatever I'm going to wind up building on top of that, and then have that crawl space underneath so it'll be easy to run electrical and plumbing and all. I hope I'm going to get that done this summer, but we'll see. So with that said, you guys have a great day, and I thank you for watching. I hope you'll stick with me. At some point, I'm going to build some kind of a home up here. I just don't know when exactly that's going to be. But you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you later. Bye.